Rosetta is a cool and increasingly popular Beyond All Reason map, and if you were a noob, the mid is where you would think the action is at. But the mid is a lie. The game is actually decided around the edges of Rosetta. That's what makes Rosetta really special. Each team has an inherent weak position on this map, and this is the crater position. This lane has quite a disadvantage compared to the opposing lane, which becomes quite obvious about 20 minutes into the game. Now, because it's on the extreme edge of the map, it isn't so easy for this position to be defended either. Only a few players are in close proximity. When a team successfully overruns the opposing crater player, then it becomes almost impossible to defend against a ground attack, and especially so an air attack. So the team that defends their crater player and manages to take out the opposing crater and eco front player, they'll have a significant metal advantage that will win them the game. I mean, this team will replace units much faster, and it's a matter of time before they overwhelm the other team on all fronts. Now, in this game today, we're going to watch the center is taken by the blue player, unusually. So this is an excellent showcase on how that position can be played. We don't usually see this as it's the noob sacrifice position. Also, around the edges, we can see the best way that crater can be attacked and also the inventive ways that it can be defended. By the way, I'm almost to 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, thanks so much. If you could hit like and subscribe, who knows, I might get there with this video, which would be bloody awesome. Okay, on to the game. So I've had Watch Me Do This come up from the initial mechs that was in the starting circle and has walked right up to the 10 metal a second, not investing in the other mechs as there because they're much lower and they require walking time as well. We'll capture those soon. Early on in this map, it is a low wind map if you're not familiar with it. So we're going to see only solars. It's not worth it at all to build wind basically. Although theoretically you could build it. I mean, why would you with the inconsistent wind? So we're going to see a lot of solar play. That's going to really hold up this early game. And we're not going to see too much in the way of pressure. Let's see what Watch Me Do This can do from the mid position here in blue, particularly early on. We can see about 7 solars here. Now, the solar is hard to get right, or 8 now being built, because if we build too many, we don't have any metal left. But they give such a weak amount of energy that we do need a fair number of them, more than we might think. And particularly, Watch Me Do This had some heavy construction to start up with, but produced them easily with all those solars in the end. But see where the geo is, we need to actually build more like 10 solars to get there. And we see this on both sides, Civen and Pro Florio. Build 10. As we see the Yanis's start to work on Evangelion, a high OS actually, OS 38 6 Chev, so another dangerous player as well. The red team is totally stacked, but the commander goes down in 4 minutes. The classic mistake of leaving the commander there unsupported usually wouldn't be an issue, except for when the commander's against Yanis's. So we see the supporting units move in now, but the Yanis's can just run away, and their impulse is area of effect, and any more troublesome units will be blown back. So 4 Yanis are more than enough to control an early army. Even 2 can do a phenomenal job, but tends to not be able to snipe a commander quite like that. That was an incredible play for Watch Me Do This, and it's why I'm a big proponent of the Yanis's. They're such good value. So we are observing on this map a 4-minute 30 timing from at least 3 of the players, apart from Pro Florio. So pretty much all the techs have sacrificed their commander for now for the 1200 metal. But Pro Florio actually is very rich in metal for whatever reason. So no reason to sacrifice that commander just yet. But we see him working now on that T2 lab. Sletox almost got taken down as well, but a little bit low on Yanis's by this stage. Watch Me Do This. And Sletox, of course, very wary. Managed to degun some of the wrecks, not that much. So Watch Me Do This is staying in this aggressive position here. Basically, as he friendly fires himself, the Yanis's tend to do that, unfortunately, particularly with the missile trucks. Wants to control this position, even though 3 players are grouping up against him to try and get all the metal he can. And being aggressive, it's going to take the pressure off the surrounding lanes. In saying that, this is the problem with trying to take mid early. Even early on, where Watch Me Do This has had all the advantages, we don't really see an effective push into the other base because it's so easy to defend, and usually always will be because it's such a strong, narrow defensive position on a ramp. Down south here, we're seeing some unfortunate flat-footedness from the rocket bots, from Rap Chaos, up against a very hard task in red, who has gone very generous with the rocket bots and favourable exchanges, trying to make up the line with pawns and ticks, looking threatening on the radar map. Red moves back a little bit in fear, but then quickly comes back forward. You've always got to be aggressive with rockets. Generally speaking, that is going to have exactly that result unless you well outnumber the rocket bots. So they're a very sturdy troop. We see Spetty Teddy's commander perhaps caught out here with the blitzers moving on in. He's been a little bit conservative though, wary of that D-gun. Very easily sniped. A pounder coming in to save Spetty Teddy. Watch me do this moving up. Look at the pounder. Very good against blitzers actually. Just on the whistlers polish off the blitzers. I'm never a fan of the blitzers using them as a main army component. They don't seem to have the heft to last. And we see these brutes moving into the rocket bots. So I think Watch Me Do This still has it all under control, even though only now has it got the T2 mechs tapped at the 7-minute mark. Actually, that's quite early. So we're going to see that income. Yeah, up to 67 metal a second, which is huge, especially when the other opponent only is on about 15 metal a second. I think that's the case at the moment. As we see the South start to trade a little bit better now, particularly because we have those helpful Sheldons donated by the Eco Front player there down south. So already the game is changing and not in Red's favour at all. A Centurion here will have to take this, followed by the rocket bots and who knows what else. Now the Whistlers are moving back a little bit underinvested here from Sharp Dog, as the ferocious Dibby line of rocket bots will hold that off all day. We see 2 mexes unaccounted for, so a bit of an amateur move here from Sharp Dog, perhaps not being aware they're his mexes. As we see this T1 constructor get worked on, lasting an amazing amount of time because the radar doesn't quite accurately find the unit. So whatever it takes to tank these Sheldon shots at the moment, this wall not bamboozling them for too long at all. Watch Me Do This, coming up the mid and trying to take out that gauntlet. Is it going to be enough? Yeah, I don't know. And some hounds are about. So this is the 8-minute 40 mark now. So it's not surprising to see a small group of hounds. And Watch Me Do This, the commander has been having the run of the front line here, and I think those days are over as we see the hounds mercilessly move on it. Now, Watch Me Do This is going to try and find value here with the comm bomb. Unfortunately, taking forever to get up this ramp. It's just like everything's not right when you're trying to attack this position. We see that happen with the metal gift, although it did do some minor damage. Down south here, we see the Sheldons firing upon TM Autopilot, who is moving forward aggressively. You will not see this often, but Red knows what's up. Surely sacrifices himself, will no doubt want to reclaim or resurrect that very quickly, but it was all to get down that rattlesnake. Built just in time, this rattlesnake, very vulnerable to being sniped by the Sheldons, more vulnerable than players sometimes realise. The damage, although low from the Sheldons, adds up quickly. The rattlesnake doesn't have too many hit points. As we see, the rattlesnake starts to come down in hit points almost to half, but there's not enough Sheldons and rocket bots on the board. Rap Chaos being a little bit greedy there. In the centre now, we see Dibby starting to get an advantage with those early T1 units running away, and Sharp Dog looking a little bit feeble in the face of it. Definitely it's a numbers game with T1, and Dibby has the numbers, but we do see a bull here come out from Watch Me Do This. Great timing on it. A nice early bull at 10 minutes will dominate that midfield here, as we also see Slutix move down and start to threaten. Now, those blitzers could actually move through to the back lines as the hounds move in on this fat boy here, who's very aggressive. And we also see thugs as well going to take down Luen's base by the looks of it. The bulls, see how it annihilates, it blows up those collection of grunts and rocket bots. And likewise, the thugs just mow through the base, which they're very good at doing. Look at all those constructors go down. The fat boy is just bullying Luen from the upper reaches. The hounds are responding though. We have to wonder if the hounds will overcome this fat boy. Seems to be, look at that impulse. Maybe they won't get there in time. They've got to climb up the hill after all. But hounds are very good against fat boys. It's dependent. on how well they're microed, and I believe the micro is good as they're getting the surround here on the Fat Boy, trying to get out of this Hound prison. And despite having all this hit points, it can only delete one of these hounds at once, so it's working as a wolf pack. They're getting the full damage buff from the surround, and also only one's getting picked off at a time. So I believe we will see the end of the Fat Boy. A disaster, but there you go. Good hound play from the red team. In the midsection now, we have the vengeance of Evangelion moving in towards the Mousers. We'll surely get a few of these. The Ticks futilely trying the Dragon's Claw, chasing them away, and not a single Mouser goes down despite being very wounded. Paper-thin armor on the Mousers. Now, Sharp Dog really seems to be struggling here. The fact Blue is helping out so much, and still Dibby has all these units on the board. But I think we can see why. If you look up in the top left of the screen there, we can see a Rattlesnake just firing on Sharp Dog, and Sharp Dog doesn't retreat. I think that's actually a mistake here. Always retreat under Rattlesnake fire. It's not worth losing money. You're always going to have bad metal trades from it. We see some very expensive units here also that are half dead. There we go. There's a artillery. That's 150 metal down. We see a Whistler here and a Yanis. They're going to come down, no doubt. Despite this pathetic T1 army that's just sort of baiting Sharp Dog in, but the only reason Dibby's doing that, they're just the foot soldiers. The actual defense is that Persecutor there, persecuting as per its name. All that's left basically are stouts, and even those are looking half dead. But there's a Mauser line coming up from Watch Me Do This, who has a little bit of an eco. Not enough energy at 630 energy at the 13-minute mark. Has sacrificed it all to build this army. I dare say should be working on a reactor instead. But here we go, working on the Fortress Hill. The Persecutor getting targeted first, but the dangerous Scorpions perhaps should be getting targeted, because look how much damage they're doing to each Mauser. One shot is just about killing a Mauser at a time. What a pain they are. The last Scorpion going down with an unbelievable range on the hill there. Fairly Pyrrhic victory. Even the pawns just standing there, taking down the Mausers. Watch Me Do This, licking his wounds and reclaiming the T2 vehicle factory. Sworn off T2 vehicles and building a Rattlesnake. As an air attack comes in up north, helping out this lane win. It's already halfway done the job, and now we see Pro Florio move forward with the deep strike, the atomic bomber taking down partway the army, and then moving in towards the base. I think there's 2 atomic bombers I see coming in on the screen. So let's see how well these are microed. Yes, coming in towards this advanced. Unfortunately, a lot of the fighters come down, but at least that advanced Geo is down now. A lot of energy down with that. Working on the constructor, the T2 lab goes down. What a disaster for the red team here. Sletox hurting after that. Not much energy, surely. Yeah, even less energy. And no build power at all, because there's no factory to build with. We also see an attack here from Hazard. Basically come down and destroy a T2 lab also. And then we see T1 bombers hitting this advanced Geo. Takes down all the T1 bombers. No! All of them go down, and that's it. And we also see up north, that's completely blown apart. Managed to target a fusion in the end. So Pro Florio done excellent work there. Definitely got value. I'm not sure if Hazred will feel the same. Unfortunately, those T1 bombers, they're a little bit flimsy. Pro Florio in the comments says, I got value, and Hazred says, nah, lost too many. But I think the red team is really on the back foot now after losing all that production and eco. And we see that in the energy per second. Blue has a massive advantage at the moment, and even slight in the metal per second. So Watch Me Do This play in the mid has definitely changed the outcome of the whole team. Being able to pressure all these players. We now see a EMP missile launcher being built. Rap Chaos here, just taking it easy, knowing the Sheldons aren't going to move forward towards that Cerberus now. Shrek on Netflix isn't done, however, circumnavigating and trying to find this weak spot here. This is very much an Ombre move, trying to move forward where the enemy is weak and basically annihilate the back line. Jade Moo is prepared for it. We see the pawns standing off. Excellent micro here. But the blob is so big. 45 grunts remaining. I think Luen is going to be facing another demolition. Oh, the Sheldon's finding out about that Cerberus being baited in. There's enough. There's 33 grunts now moving down. Geez, they're a ferocious S tier unit, these guys. 26 They aren't too quick at dismantling the base, and they're chased away. Not able to take down, I don't think, that T2 mechs in the end. Luen just down a factory, yet again, annoying as it is. All these guys are down the factory forevermore. Would have been good being able to get rid of that building advanced geo, because they won't get any further now the Shuriken have arrived. Rap Chaos might be totally impervious now to pushes with that Cerebus, but so likewise is TM Autopilot there with the Bastion, with a Mammy. And look at this Eco gearing up into the Aphis line, already with an Aphis there before the 17-minute mark. So that is the plan of TM Autopilot. Solid plan it is. Although the attack is coming from Rap Chaos, surprisingly, I don't think this is going to get anywhere. I wonder what the plans are here for Watch Me Do This. No doubt iron off this mid base, but also the Tremor is ironed off as well. It's the sore thumb poking out into the eye of the blue team. And that Tremor is worked on by so many pawns, but still it's alive. Nothing will stop it. It is just going to bombard those Dragon's Teeth all day long there. No one's getting off that ramp, that Tremor says. But I'm not going to get one bit further because, it's dead anyway, so there we go. Up north we see a sneaky fat boy, so has received some assistance, has Luen, to come back from the dead. It is the 17-minute mark, going to come in, work on some defences, but I think it's going to become hunted at some point. Unsupported, this way always support your fat boy. Shrek on Netflix shows the reasoning for it, particularly seeing that Jammer should be running away right away. And look at this massive response force. Shrek on Netflix just waiting in the wings. We see the result of that EMP in the centre. That 40 metal per second wiped off the board. An excellent tactic. So guys, take the mid position, go Armada, get EMP, or likewise get Cortex and get the TAC missile. I'm not sure if that'd have the range. Someone let me know in the comments if that would be the case. As these grunts move in, Shrek on Netflix trying the same thing again and again. And the team's ready. Got welders, got hounds, less so effective, but there's not enough welders in the right place. They're all bunched up trying to chase these grunts. And we're going to see here a number of them. It looks to be about 60. I can't bring up a number. There we go, 42. And a number of them are taken down by the Shurikens. Yet again, Luen, despite all the help, and we see here with the two twin lasers, perhaps being able to be enough to kill a lot of them. Not really. They're too close in. We're going to see finally the Vengeance. They all explode for no reason. Why did they explode? Another EMP, and Dibby is finding out about being on the front line. Watch Me Do This, having a massive effect. Trying to build back a little bit now, and I don't blame Dibby at all. How can you build when your factory and everything is EMP'd? Absolutely impossible. So what Watch Me Do This couldn't attack with conventional units has attacked with the EMP. An excellent choice. Evangelion says in the comments, I'm done for, as we see the two catapults here before the 20-minute mark come out, start bombarding the Mammy. Excellent timing here, and Aphis line from Sivan. Not only contributing some Sheldons, but quickly going into T3. A big attack here against this forward base. The Scorpion almost dead, but I wish to see those catapults take a little bit more of a risk. See, these right here are the units that we need the catapults really to work upon, is these key defensive units. We see an EMP, a Pulsar, even if you take some casualties while doing so. Even the construction turrets, they're going to be such a setback for the red team. It's unbelievable. So rather than working on Dragon's Teeth, but you need to know that through scouting. And I don't think all of this is completely scouted. Those T2 walls very effective against the initial barrages of catapult fire against the Bastion. So we do see some Shivers now donated, I believe, to Sharpdog. Moving in and finally perhaps able to take down Dibby's base. A little bit tentative, as you have to be with Shivers to get their full value. They are a bit like fat boys, so they all can die to a mysterious commander. And so the Shivers are a little bit nervous as they dance around here, and you got to wonder if these guys stay up, they might actually be able to take down Dibby's base. And see, this is what it's looking like for them. So they're just trying to take down these key defensive units at the moment, because getting worked on by the Scorpions will be death. There's only 5 of them left. I would like to see an attack here from Blue as well. Would have blown through actually Divy's base perhaps at the moment. But here we go. The Shivers might be able to do the job themselves. Watch Me Do This is having a good look. But there is Dibby. Hardly came up on the radar at all and took those guys down. So that was pretty impressive. See here, hid behind the ridgeline, totally off radar as the radar beams bounce off that bit of geography. There we go. I'm showing you where it is now. Dibby taking full advantage of that black spot as he moves in against Tigers. A very expensive attack here. Dibby, absolutely invulnerable, so it seems, with that D-gun. Not perfectly taking down that force, but that's okay. It's good enough. That last Tiger is not enough to do any real damage. So I just missed it. A massive air attack from the red team has managed to take down, unfortunately, the very effective economy of 7. So that's a massive equaliser there. Red was on the back foot, and now I think blue is going to be on the back foot with that. A disheartening air attack. We see it so often. Pro Florio, perhaps just slightly fumbling that, but overall, the team should have perhaps had more AA up, expecting the bombers to come down south through that canyon area. Pro Florio, however, is impressed by the 68 AA bots, built by Shrek on Netflix, who is taking the job seriously of defending the skies. So it looks intimidating on the radar as well, and more the merrier seems to be the catch cry of Shrek on Netflix. Watch Me Do This is finally starting to build an APHIS line, a little bit late perhaps, neglecting the economy, which perhaps is a fatal mistake, actually, as we see TM Autopilot had an APHIS already up by the 17-minute mark. Yeah, so you can see the difference here. TM Autopilot has 6 APHISes basically up at the same time. Watch Me Do This has 2 up. So I think TM Autopilot had a little bit of help, but not much. It's just that position. You can really expect not to be attacked by the crater position. Early T3 stage is over, where those surprise T3s can really do a lot of damage. Okay, gunning for the Tremor. That Tremor's really annoying the red team. Look at all those tactical missiles hit at the same time. Spetty Teddy is half dead. Spetty Teddy is now the player that's jutting out and the team is focusing on. So will they be able to get through the defences perhaps? Because we do see TAC missiles starting to hit them. Watch Me Do This now moving down with the pawns to try and take on. I guess this is where the TAC is coming from. I'm not actually too sure, but the pawns were well rebuffed. The EMP's coming in, however, but I don't think the attack's going to line up with it. As we see, another air attack, so very gung-ho. Hamoud Loves You moving forward here. Think would have enough AA against him now in this high OS lobby. So is just picking on some of the army, driving them back, that's for sure. The strategic bombers can do a lot of damage to army units, particularly 12 of them. Poor old Spetty Teddy jutting out here and is going to get the next whipping. Yeah, that TAC missile goes down. Look at all those AA bots coming in. Hamoud Loves You retreats right back and knows it's there. Suspiciously knows it's there. Didn't get ambushed whatsoever, or just a very good air player. And then moves down and takes it on. But Hamoud was certain that wouldn't be able to attack the North Tech for whatever reason. Perhaps scouted that already. Spetty Teddy has everything thrown at him as the Whistlers are moving in for the final attack. I doubt they're going to be effective. You never know, however. This Banish has been super annoying. It's been such a sniper Banish. It would have killed a good 20 units by now. It has been hitting target after target. So perhaps another mistake here from the blue team. Blue himself building fighters to complement. That was a nasty bombing run and the morale is shook, that's for sure. But there now isn't enough units to properly press on the red team here, particularly in the mid zone. The advantage is to the red team. Even though we see similar army values, we also see after that bombing run, it was critical that red team really is in charge now. And the assault doesn't give up. Poor Spetty Teddy doesn't have a moment to collect himself. It's just a series of defense in depth. The only hope now up against that Mammy. As we see, an attack actually from the red team up north. Shrek on Netflix, they had the advantage here. Gets taken down, the commander. And we see the response of all these grunts. Finally, there's the counter unit to them at the 27-minute mark. And look at them getting herded in here by the razors. It's absolutely disgusting to watch it. Just blown apart. Whole swarms of them. It makes for good cinema though, as the grunt bits go flying. And I think we're seeing here 300 grunts reduced to 100 in real time. Pro Florio is saying, oh, I'll bring my abductors, just wait. So we're going to see how these abductors fare against the razors. Not too good. They never seem to be that good. The razor gets away okay in the end. For whatever reason, I don't know. I think it's just worth it to build Shuriken. The abductors just don't seem to do the job. So 2 big lines meeting up in the centre. The red team starting now to explore out and try and own this mid-zone. at least patrol it, as we see an EMP strike here against a Scorpion and bunch of constructor bots. Really somehow missing the mark a little bit, but you do have a delay between launching the EMP and it striking, and most of these pawns are going to get run over in the end. Grunts, I should say. The pawns taking the victory today. Well, that was a dubious one. Another Pyrrhic win here, who will never get into Divvy's base, so it seems. It's not happening. They're gung-ho though, but it's not going to work. Up north, Shrek on Netflix somehow, despite not waiting, still has a series of grunts here. And south, the red team is forming up. This does look problematic. Despite chucking up a resign, I don't think it's time for red to resign just yet. This looks threatening indeed. 2 Thors come out and we hear the EMP missiles. A good spread of them moving in, striking everything beautifully. That is just fantastic. That is how an EMP swarm strike is done. The Thors together, I imagine, with the EMP missiles, releasing them all at once in a fantastic spread. And look at them just walk through. So red, despite ecoing up, didn't need that standing army around. Could essentially defend, get a few paralyzers up, and then this is the result. The commander going down. And now we see the large base. Still, largely, this Cerberus is EMP'd. I'm not sure how much longer that's going to take place, but now the Thors are too close, surely. The Cerberus is not a high DPS item. It is long-range, reasonable DPS, and that is done for. As we look up north, all the AA bots firing into the air, dominating that, but just walk through that in the end. Too many welders. An excellent unit to pair with the Thors. Moving in now on the base. I think they're done for, or wrap chaos. Put up with TM autopilot for half an hour, and that has been enough. Well done, wrap chaos. But your days are over. What can you do when everything's EMP'd? You can't do much, can you? Okay, up north we see an attack of Razors. So going to thicken up the lines a bit. Pro Florida doing everything as an air player. That's a lot of T3 at the 30-minute mark. Moving forward with the mass grunts. Well, a little bit tentative. I can't blame them. Oh yeah, this base is going down. Our Spetty Teddy is seen better days, that's for sure. I'm sure we'll come back. Very resilient player. As we see some Vanguard hits hit their own grunts. Okay, moving forward now. They've been let unloose. And taken down by the bombers. An excellent spread. All of the grunts died. Sacrificed. All of the grunts the last 10 minutes Shrek on Netflix has produced have died for no reason. A massive air battle ensues, but actually the red seems to be getting the best of it. Bringing back the bombers. The T3 is not looking good. But there are all these AA bots. Danger close to the AA. The AA bots killing 100. Taking down a massive amount. Let's keep an eye though on this evolving situation down south. We see this tech has got bombed previously, but now the nail is in the coffin. Yeah, pretty much as the Thor moves down to this last base here, this last bulwark, which should, you imagine, get EMP'd by the mobile EMP missile carrying Thors. The whole point of them is to kill the last bit of static defense, but I don't think we're going to see it actually. No, would have launched it by now. Perhaps didn't know it was there. Very unfortunate, but still, the red team has taken victory more or less by getting the resource advantage, and we can see that in the medal second here. We're seeing a 50% increase. I don't think it's going to stay. I think that's due to some reclaiming going on. But still, it's a 54% increase on the blue team in energy per second. So up north, the blue team really has to push their advantage here. And the red team knows it, bringing Wasps up against 100 AA bots. And they're just staying out of range of the worst of it. But still, they're taking a reasonable amount of casualties. A disgusting number of Wasps, really. I think it looked to be about the 50 number. And then we see a massive air battle as well. Desperately, Pro Flora trying to provide some cover here to this force. The last remaining hope. Blue has responded back with an army of pawns. It's not going to be enough. Absolutely outmatched by all the T3 for some reason. Red has decided to take a breather. Probably worried about what's happening up north and keeping an eye up there, because this does look critical at the moment. This could win the whole game. We see the eco of Hamoud Loves You now took over part of the base of the northern team. And all those Aphis line, it looks like it's going to go, to be honest with you. How could it not? It's danger close, completely overrunning the crater. And the Wasps are back, though. It looks like there's another 50 of them. They don't care. They're going to actually fight it out with the AA bots here. No, temporarily, they decide to do something better. Now the fighters are moving over as well. They don't seem to care about the AA bots, but what do you do? It's all Hamoud Loves You has in quantity is aircraft. And so Shrek on Netflix has properly judged that and has built a lot of AA bots for this very reason. The Vanguard's actually within range, I'd imagine, of one or two of the Aphis line and construction turrets. Not able to break through and do any scouting, though, to realise the opportunity that abounds. A Titan getting danger close. Taken down in the end. No, it's still there. We can see it on the mini-map and hear it. There we go, taking down that forward base. So one has broken through. Well done, blue team. You think they would make it. There's only a Karganath there, although there is Mammoths and Karganaths streaming upwards north, and Centurions. Just a bit of everything here. A Bastion is there in the end defending that Aphis line. Quite unusual to see that Bastion so far back, but perhaps going to be worth it. We see Oracles move down. So at the same time as we see fighters move up north and air. So red team is doing a very good job of distracting the fighters, and particularly purpose fighters there from Hazred or Hazard. So air domination stays with the red team, who look to be holding on to this, and outside of a lucky snipe from a Vanguard, which they look like they're wanting to do as they move forward slowly, but I just don't know if they're going to be able to get the vision. There's no pawns that can even get through. Very smart, moving that demon in. I think that demon's going to seal it. Yeah, and see, we can just see all these units come out of the void, hidden behind the cliff somewhat. But surely, now it's all over. These last lot of units from blue threatening, but I don't think they can move. They can't abseil down the cliff. They're just going to stand there and die. The Karganath here, trying to move forward against this blocking Centurion. How annoying. Down south. Perhaps we see a similar reversal as we saw before with red, using the EMP strike. Certainly the base is disabled, but I think there's enough grunts in reserve here, going for the catapults. There's a demon as well, sorry. So I think it's not going to be enough, although Dibby's base is surely wounded by such a strike. But I think that's it. That was Watch Me Do. This is big play. It was a whole heap of pawns at the 35-minute mark. Surprising to see it, and not a whole heap of T3 backing that up. But there you go. That's what happens when you try and contribute to air as well. Too many things to do all at once. The Mammies are holding this off. They're holding the high ground now. And as you know, the high ground is where the advantage lies. A hero beamer with a general star just taking down all that spam. So yeah, Shrek on Netflix at the moment actually has the most damage dealt by far, which I was surprised about. And as he said in the comments, I think I got top damage just in AA bots. Perhaps also got the top actions per minute. So Shrek on Netflix has been pushing forward with the aggression, but not necessarily neglecting the eco. So very well played by you, sir. Created the opportunity, but for whatever reason, Pro Florio and Shrek on Netflix need some help here to break through, because the whole team is contributing basically. Down south, but look at red, has manned up with a few welders, that's for sure. That spam is just beyond useless at this point. I know where it's all coming from. Watch Me Do This is conjuring it from the void. The EMP missiles are even striking. Jade Moo saying in the comments, full hostage gameplay this was, it was disgusting. But Jade Moo was actually on a pretty good side, so I don't know why that's hostage gameplay. Jade Moo then says and why this game is destined to lose all its players. I think making ages. I'm not sure if that's serious or not, probably is, but it's funny, the outrage. We see two Thors in the middle. Finally, some T3 going to take on that middle aspect, or that middle base with nothing really there. But the action is up north, needs to alleviate some pressure from this northern salient that just cannot break through the series of Wasps and Mammies. And look at this. There's hardly any more room on the actual terrain for Mammies. It is now getting filled up. You think surely the offensive is all over. Moving in now with the EMP going to take the hill, but it's a hill where nothing is, because the red team gave up on that one long ago. As we see the fighters move in from Hazred now, finally providing that support. And Condors, I thought they were bombers there for the moment, but no. We really need to see some heavy air support. The Wasps slowly moving in. They are needed on the front line yesterday. But I just think there's too many Mammoths. And they are excellent anti-air as well. They are one of the most overpowered units in the game. If you can get that into position, which Red needed this a long time ago, and finally has something like this in place to fend off this mad dash from the blue team, because they know it's their last hope. And to be honest with you, if you're still a blue player now and you put up a resign and it didn't go through, I would be saying you are holding the team hostage, because it looks like Red has an unsurmountable advantage when you start seeing a 38% advantage in the energy per second and 15 or 20% advantage in the metal per second on a high OS game. It's a matter of time before one team wins it, and that's the team with the metal advantage. And we can see that here. The blue team can just not break through. There's only one area that the blue team could possibly win this now, and that is with the narrow air advantage they do have, or otherwise long-range artillery, as we see a Calamity get popped down. So the blue team all of a sudden realise that it's the time to try and end the game quickly before inevitably the red team grinds them down. These juggernauts are heading up north along the front line, creating terror whenever they march. Someone says Mammoths kind of OP NGL as the Mammoths move in, and yes, they are overpowered. I've tested it with Mammoths and I've put every T2 unit against them and they utterly destroy every T2 unit, and I believe they're competitive with T3 units. The only thing is the Titans. The only advantage Titans have, of course, is the long range, so they can actually snipe the Mammoths from afar, but that doesn't stop the Mammoths. Mammoths aren't that much less in range, so it's going to be a close thing here, and we see the Titans moving back. I do wonder if Blue shouldn't have moved forward before with these Titans, perhaps been a little bit too precious and not been offensive enough. But look at all these wrecks. You're seeding the ground, and this would be, I don't know, 110,000 in reclaim. Of course, overall in the economies, it doesn't matter as much as players think it does, but still, if you can fully even resurrect this, a very potent force and game-changing. So you can't really seed such a large battle. And the Titans now need to move forward. They need to, but they're not. They're just standing there and waiting for this Juggernaut to get in position. I think that was the end of the blue team. Calamity or not, but you never know, they're still in it if they can get in a few good shots. They're certainly able to defend. They've demonstrated that. The Juggernauts are questionable. I don't think they can beat EMP. I don't think so. I think that's why TM Autopilot has built such a number of them. And so I'm not sure if spy bots or paralyzers can stop that threat moving in. They could probably just walk through the southern area now, but they're being conservative and going up north, making sure those worrisome Titans are pushed back into their box. As we see, watch me do this, moving forward randomly into the Bastion defense and Juggernaut defense. Maybe there's enough of them. Yeah, we see 1,000 on the screen at the moment, slowing the whole frame rate down remarkably. I think they're trying to make the game crash. I think that's what Watch Me Do This is doing at the moment. Moving into that base, hopefully able to focus down some of those construction turrets. Doesn't. Hate to see it. Nothing gets destroyed in the end. They just pop. They've got no hit points whatsoever. The Bastions, even in the middle of the base, able to take those down. Excellent defense in depth there from TM Autopilot. Still a few left, but I don't think they're going to get far. As we see now, the Mammoths are actually moving forward. Another wave coming out. There we go. This is where all the pawns were coming from there. So that was the big play. But we just don't see enough eco here from Watch Me Do This. He had to be a major eco partner as the Mammoths here push forward. Very slow aggression. The Titans are able to enact a massive... What do we see here in the left? A lot of spam going on. I think some fighters have been transferred over. It looks like 1,000 fighters. So it looks like there's an air attack that's going to take place, and we see, 33 bombers. So definitely a doom force of air if they can break through. Have given up before, but perhaps Shrek on Netflix doesn't have that army now of AA bots. So as the Calamity is firing into this area, okay, it's been built. Doesn't have full scouting. Still, unfortunately, Air has been very diligent about that. And it's a pretty good spread of fire, somehow managing to miss everything of import. There we go, some energy converters were hit. But the red team's been very good about distributing that, actually. As we see the shields start to pop up, will it be able to do the damage in time? I don't think so, because those bombers are going to be able to take down that Calamity in one fell swoop. We see a massive destruction, actually, in the background of energy converters here. So some early bombers also took that down. Grievous bodily harm done to Pro Florio. And we see a base though in the middle get taken down. What's this? It's a second Calamity. Took down that central base. Not too bad. Working on the back. Okay, this will be big. If we can hit this, we do see a gap in the shields here. And the fire is getting spectacularly close. One gets through, two, three. How many shots does it take? Surely a few more. Spectator says, oh my god, lol, not covered. No, it isn't. Bit of lazy shielding there. But these Juggernauts are moving in. It's Spetty Teddy's base. The commander moving forward to fend off the Juggernauts. Look at this huge eco here. It looks like it's suffering some damage already. Will Spetty Teddy save the Calamity? I don't think so, because these Juggernauts insta-pop and kill the commander, so couldn't finish off that southern one, which was the only hope. The commander had to do 2 D-guns at once almost. Okay, we see, there we go. Totally done in the end. Total value. You just wonder why teams don't go the Calamity a little bit earlier. Look at the effect it has, being able to burst through shields like that. The Mammoth's moving forward now, but the Juggernauts are taking down this central location. So you wonder if it's all over for the blue team, exploding in the base, taking that down. So free to move in now on the eco line are these Juggernauts. And a whole series of pawns from Dibby. Sorry, grunts. Never stopped producing grunts. Good to see it. Also, a series of snipers here. But we do see behemoths, finally. And what's this? Dragons. Possibly the worst unit in the game. Coming out at this critical time to attack what? Juggernauts. But they can't really attack it without blowing themselves up. So they're running away after half killing the Juggernaut. So, yeah. There you go. It looks like it's all over for the blue team at the 45-minute mark. It didn't look like that 20 minutes in, but now it's at the 45-minute mark. It does look like definitely there's an insurmountable advantage there. The Calamities were the last play. They done a shocking amount of damage, but all you need is 2 Juggernauts to do that. And look, even at effect, watch me do this, the chain moving in and around. And now I see what they were trying to get away from was the massive base explosion. Before taking a few more hit points off this one single Juggernaut, I would really love to see some more Titans within the central region. The Behemoths not being fast enough to react defensively. I think one Juggernaut goes down, but the last one is going to be able to take down. I'm not sure how that was blown up. Okay, that was a bit random. Maybe there was something else that attacked that. But I think it's all over as we see the resign from Rap Chaos goes up. I don't think it ends just yet, however, from memory. I think this game goes on for 50 odd minutes. Seen it, so it's not the beginning of the end, it's the end of the beginning. The Titans here forming a ring. The Dragons, mobile defense. The Mammoths clawing away at the Titans. But I believe they're taking massive casualties to do so. But what does it matter if you have a heap of resbots behind them? And we see these behemoths moving in as well on the offensive. A last gasp, but really the last gasp was a good 20 minutes ago. And these behemoths are moving in. Look at how they're getting focus fired. All those Shiver missiles hitting them one after the other, doing a tremendous amount of damage. But the eco advantage there, as we can see, it's too much. We see 100% or more metal per second advantage. A matter of time now. Yeah, the behemoth was focused down quite nicely. That's how you demolish a behemoth. Just by enough ground units, and the same when attacking a Juggernaut. If you have enough Shivers or something like that, they just get melted. Nuke bombers here from Florio not giving up, and I love to see it actually. Some micro, but look at the anti-air of the Mammoths, able to really tank that and then seemingly just shoot down the nuke bombers at will. Such an annoying unit. There we go, Commander self-destructed. Thank you for not holding us hostage. Blue team. Red team was just too good from start to finish, despite setbacks. And we see the excellent play here from Pro Florio, being pivotal with the air attacks, with the atomic bombers, with the T3. backing up what Shrek on Netflix was doing, which was a bit bizarre. One side panned out, the AA, the other side, the endless amount of grunts, didn't really pan out in the end, was too much of the one thing. You've got to switch it up, otherwise the other team will react and totally mitigate your advantage. TM Autopilot, best player by far. Look at that, destroy enemy resource production. Also destroying enemy units and defenses, very high up there. Also produce the most resources. So in effect, a bull. And has to be in that lane that you see right here. To give your team every advantage, you need to be in this position or close to it. And in the opposing team as well. It's just the way the Rosetta map is. The mid position is more of a noob position. Even though it can be very well played, what it is the bottom lanes don't get enough support defensively, and that's why you can attack through it to get to the enemy eco. But in the mid, either side can support, and we saw that in this game. Watch Me Do This wasn't able to break through whatsoever and was basically wasted. Whereas what TM Autopilot done with the EMP attack just absolutely blew through and had a massive game-changing effect. And up north, where it was defended, and they probably just didn't push enough at some stages. Even though they tried everything, I felt those Titans at the end were a little bit timid. And yes, it is worrisome when you lose all your Titans, but on the other hand, they have to move forward, especially 10 Titans, right? Or whatever it was, 7, they have to move forward and take some eco with them. Otherwise, it's just GG's anyway, right? So yeah, that one advantage probably didn't have enough resources to even do that because TM Autopilot backing up the whole team was so good. But in saying that, if you're a lesser ranked player and you can sort of play like Watch Me Do This, being that supportive pivot, very effective. That EMP is critical, but the best part of that spot is it's such a good spot defensively, but do be prepared to build that eco heavily behind it, because that's what Rosetta is going to be, is actually if you can build some EMP, really mitigate what the other team is doing economically, get back and just scale like crazy, you're going to be the scaling that saves your whole team. Because usually that position doesn't scale because they feel like they're under so much pressure to defend that mid base, when in actual fact, if the other team pushes hard enough, I mean, it's a forlorn hope trying to hold it anyway. So this crater position, as we see down here, that has such the disadvantage, if you can actually hold that, that's really good for your whole team. I had a game where our team actually did lose, but we were just totally outgunned. But it was a long game because I managed to hold that crater position. So that includes getting the Cerebus, just being nifty with a movable response, getting Mammies, even from an earlier stage, something, and getting Arbiters. And if you play this defensive position really well, you can save the whole team. But it's not a scaling position at all. But even in a high OS lobby where a lot of the games finish early, you can see that early 16-minute, 17-minute APHIS line scaling, because particularly on the bottom side where the crater's not able to enact enough pressure, they can get away with some crazy level scaling. So that's how the Rosetta goes, bros. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments with my commentary and analysis today. All helpful learns from me. As always, like and subscribe just so you can keep on seeing my videos. Otherwise, you're never going to see me again on my very small channel. If you enjoy my content, and see you next one.